Millennials are reaching their breaking point, destined to work forever while also being the last generation dedicated enough to keep the workforce intact. In this video, we're going to continue the discussion of why middle-aged folks are just about ready to give up on everything. And if you personally can relate to anything discussed in today's video, or you personally have been enjoying the daily Doomer commentaries over here on the page, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, opinions down below, and subscribe to see my daily videos right here on the channel. And a huge shout out to any of you guys checking out those links down below in the description. Those are always some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. Now, let's begin this shit show.
Are there any other millennials out there that are having a hard time accepting this is what we're going to be like, this is our life? I'm having a hard time accepting the fact that I'm never going to have the dream wedding I've always planned of, the dream house I've always wanted, and my dream area, my dream job. I feel like I'm just going to be stuck in an apartment with a job that just pays me enough to pay my bills, because at this rate in time, with the job market the way it is and the houses the way they are, I feel like we're just kind of fucked. And I'm having a really hard time accepting that and trying to plan for it, because we just got engaged last year and I keep trying to look at venues and start planning my wedding, and I just literally can't. Everything is so expensive, and I really don't want to elope, but my goodness, this is hard to accept.
With middle age creeping up upon most of us and work seeming to be the only thing that we have going, and still never seem to be enough, the payout never seems to increase, and the amount we're paying out always seems to go up faster than the amount we're making. So we don't really see ourselves being able to have any vacation, no retirements. Christmas is even canceled. Hey, the food shelf is empty, and nobody, you can't really ask your neighbors for help because they're struggling just as bad as you are, if not worse. So a lot of people in these middle ages are starting to find themselves stuck in a rough spot. They're kind of in a rock and a hard place. They don't really know where to go from here. Some of them with kids don't really know how to support them, kind of almost regret having them. The people without kids who wish to one day have them kind of are starting to see that thought depleting from their brain. They don't really see that being a thing that's ever going to happen. I mean, and that's including my personal self right here. So do you personally feel like that modern times just kind of starting to relate to the Middle Ages, or is this kind of just a brainwashed concept that people aren't really living this badly? It's just what the news wants you to think, and that if you just work hard enough, you'll be able to figure it out. Feel free to let me know down below in the comments if you're on either side of the matter here.
Wow, childhood was great. I'm excited for a bright future.
9/11.
What?
Yeah, it's 9/11. It's going to be the worst terrorist attack in human history, and the world's never going to be the same.
All right, well, I'm sure by the time I get to college, things will...
Financial crisis. There's going to be one of the worst financial crises ever.
All right, well, whatever. I'm sure by the time I'm 30...
Global pandemic. There's going to be a global pandemic that irreparably shifts how society operates. Forever.
This is becoming too much for me. All right, well, I was always shown that the key to happiness is just raising a family and owning a home. So I'm just going to focus on that because I'm finally making $100,000 a year.
$250,000.
Huh?
Yeah, you're going to need $250,000 a year for all those things now.
Are you kidding me? Gee, I mean, I guess I'll just go back to medical school then.
$300,000, that's going to cost $300,000 and also 10 years of your life.
Oh my... Whatever, I'll just pursue my passions and become an artist.
They're going to try to replace you with AI.
Good God. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm just going to revert back to my childhood and watch some of my favorite shows. Try to forget about this.
Child abuse.
What?
Yeah, child abuse. They were all abusing children.
Ugh. I need to go back to church.
Also abusing children.
I can't do this anymore. Is the government at least trying to fix this? Abusing children?
Abusing children.
Now, a lot of millennials feel as if they were sold lies, something that Gen Z never really bought into. But millennials actually, were, hook and sinker into this matter. And they genuinely thought that one day, if they worked hard enough, if they did their Fortune 500 companies, if they jumped up the ladder, they sucked good enough and sucked hard enough and sucked the most amount of whatever out of whatever, they could potentially one day have a fat enough 401k, IRA, whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'm Gen Z. I'm never gonna have this. I don't know. But you really think that it's going to be enough just to realize that maybe these markets are not as secure as you once thought. Also realizing that the amount of money you have to pay out if you ever get any sort of disease or any sort of hiccup or any sort of, natural disaster in your life, whether that's weather-wise or just life-wise, it's going to eat up the majority of your profits. So there really is nothing left for one day when you have to settle down, you have to kind of hop out of this lifestyle and one day want to ride off into the sunset. There is no boat to buy tickets for. There's no sail you're going to be getting on. We're all just stuck here at sea waiting for our life raft to drown because there's a hole in it, and there was a hole in it before we even got it. That's kind of how it feels right now.
If you are between the ages of 29 and 44 right now, I genuinely feel bad for you. I mean, I hate to tell you millennials, but you're the boiling frog. The obvious thing to talk about is most millennials are in their 30s right now. They're starting a family, they're buying homes. Homes cost twice as much what they did 20 years ago, but wages have barely changed. That's not what this is about. We're talking about technology. Technology grew exponentially in the span of like 20 years. We went from flip phones to Martin Luther King AI videos. How do you think that affected the workforce? Technology's better. That means we're more efficient. That means that we can work faster. Notifications, emails, work from home, Zoom meeting, PTO, make them work for it. Everything is hurried. You might say everybody's affected by this, but here's why I disagree. Z, we grew up on technology. I had a Game Boy when I was like 6 years old. All I know is technology, so it's normalcy for me. And Gen X and the boomers, they completely missed it. Their families are already established, their homes are bought, they've already set up their retirement. Now, if anything, technology is hilarious to them. They don't give a shit. It barely affects their lives. But millennials, they saw what life was like before technology, and now they live in life after technology. And they probably look back on the days where they could just be bored and not feel like they were in a rush 24/7 and say, damn, I wish I could have it back.
Breaking the bank to barely survive. That's how a lot of people are getting by right now. They're stacking up their credit cards. Hey, even Cashapp offered me this $400 afterpay limit, which I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't really want to rack up debt I can't afford, although I have personally taken out payday loans in the past. I do understand that in America, people look at credit as a way to get ahead when most people actually use it as a hurdle to stop them from getting ahead at all, and then it ends up just keeping them in their tracks. But I've personally used it in the past. I usually try to stay away from debt, but over the course of the last 2 years, it's been very hard to get by without any sort of, extra income, because there really is not much coming in. Even the gig work economy seems to be dying. If you watch any videos about that, I personally tried that in the past, and that's how a lot of people try to get by. But unless you're selling stuff on eBay, whether you're, Facebook Marketplace, DoorDashing, Uber, you're doing any of this side gigs, it's kind of starting to get oversaturated. And the more people that do that, the lower the pay amount actually is for all these different jobs. So it's kind of starting to be like side hustles aren't really a thing anymore. Everybody has a TikTok page, everybody has a YouTube channel. It's oversaturated, guys. Unless you want to post 10 times a day, unless you want to do a bazillion orders on your Uber Eats account, good luck getting by, or else you're going to have to rack up your credit card debt, folks. If your hair is personally starting to turn gray or balding like mine is, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, opinions down below, and subscribe to see my daily videos right here on the channel. If you have any thoughts, opinions regarding anything discussed in this video, I always love to read through those, sort through those, and respond to the ones I see fit. As well as I want to give a huge acknowledgement to the handful of you guys checking out those links down below in the description. Those are always some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. It definitely inspires me to keep being as consistent as possible. I plan to be really hardcore with my posts throughout the rest of the year, so I hope you guys have been enjoying, appreciating the consistent content throughout the last quarter of the year here. So God bless. See you next one. It's kind of for me today, so bye.